Hi, everybody. I'm Deacon Dave.
Layperson Lisa.
Dear Miss Debbie.
Welcome to the Deacon Dave and Layperson Lisa show with special guest.
Dear Miss Debbie.
All right, so we haven't been on for 3 days, so this is actually day 4, 5, and 6
Whoa.
that we are giving you, and we're going to start with alternate route day 4, where we went up to a lake. Remember, Lisa?
Remember.
And then on the way back down, we went into a waterfall.
No, that was
yesterday.
Wasn't it? No, it was. It wasn't. Yes, that is correct.
Oh no,
Deacon
yesterday
Dave.
was the hard.
That
Okay,
is
you're
correct,
right.
Deacon
You're right.
Dave.
And they.
Wait a minute. What did you
You
say?
got that.
What did y'all say?
You are correct.
Whoa. Ladies
Whoa.
and gentlemen,
Proof. Video proof.
this may never happen again.
Exactly.
And
So,
so,
yes,
we got into a pool at the bottom of a waterfall.
Not me.
And then we got, was it gingerbread?
We got gingerbread.
Wait.
Gingerbread.
Talk
We gotta
about
talk
the
about the
pool.
swim.
The pool was very
Refreshing.
cold and refreshing. And
It was, I think, one of our only freshwater swims.
it was a freshwater
It was
swim.
a freshwater
No,
swim.
it's a
We have-
natural spring.
It might have
Yes.
been colder than the Irish Sea.
Yes,
we
we're
think.
calling that colder, so we have a new record low. We're going to say 49 degrees.
I think that's maybe
Well,
pushing
remember
it.
first that we walked all the way up the mountain to a lake
Did you just say
Oh.
mountain like Lisa did?
That's the correct enunciation.
Oh my goodness.
to a beautiful lake
Yes.
that was a very treacherous climb.
Treacherous.
Treacherous climb for due to Miss Debbie.
Well, first we went the wrong way.
Anyway, we had gingerbread. And
Wait,
then we
you're like fast forwarding.
You're at the end.
I know, but we have 3 days to
touched
cover,
the
us,
water.
ladies.
We
We have
touched
3
the water
days to
in the
cover, and my arm is tired.
Okay. So yes, we had gingerbread, and then we had.
And then we went to Rydell
wait.
Cave.
We got milkshakes.
Oh
that-
yeah, so
that
we got
were
a
milk.
chocolate milkshake.
That was chocolate that
Do
was
not
shaken.
get milkshakes in Europe.
They're
not
just
ice cream.
The only thing they are is chocolate milk with whipped cream on.
Shaken.
Yeah, with whipped cream. Not really good. And then we went to this large cave, which was okay, but that was a
It
very...
was cool. It was
it
very
was
cool.
cool.
In
It
the
was
words
cool.
of Dunamis Debbie, it was treacherous. Another treacherous
It was
treacherous
steep. It was a
climb.
steep incline
Yeah.
for sure.
It was very steep.
Sorry, I'm not, Miss, a Mr.
Miss
Climb and
Layperson
Lisa.
skill rocks.
Yes. So
We did not go. We were gonna go swimming in the lake, but we did not because there was only about a inch or two of water
inside the cave, you mean?
inside the
Oh.
pool.
There was not
it
a
was
lake inside the
Not
cave,
swimming
y'all.
conditions.
It was
They
stagnant.
needed some. Yeah, it
I
was
have-
It had bacteria.
I have no idea why she said lake in the cave.
totally unbacteria. We could see it by the film.
They've had a sweet beer at dinner, so I
even
can't be
allowed to-
responsible for
We
what
weren't
they're
even
saying
allowed
right
to
now.
put our. We weren't even allowed to step into the cave water because we might bring
It was yucky.
bacteria
Yeah.
on our.
Well, so let's go on to day 2.
Wait, we didn't talk about anything about God though.
We're getting there.
Well, we're going to combine all 3
Yes.
days
Okay.
into a spiritual lesson, I am sure.
Yes.
So on day 2, Debbie had to wash laundry. So she
But
took
go ahead.
the bus north to Penrith and then south to Shap after washing the clothes. Meanwhile, Lisa and I,
Which took me from 9 o'clock until 2 o'clock to take a
An hour.
50-minute
Yeah.
bus ride, 50, to Penrith. And then I had to find my way with luggage to the laundromat or the laundryette. And then, and then I had to catch the bus back at 1:27 to Shap.
and
and I
Debbie
got
never
there-
went the right way.
And I, of course, never went the right way.
But the
But-
people were very nice.
Yes. And they led me all the way to the laundryette. And then when I got out of the laundryette, I asked a young girl, how do I get to the bus station? And she walked me halfway to the bus station.
And the first lady walked you to the laundrette.
Yes,
Did you say that? Sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I met some really nice people on the bus to Shap because I didn't know where to get off.
So do you feel lost in your spiritual life? Know that God uses other people to help direct you. And so you have to listen to the voice of God who might be working through people in your lives that you either know or don't know. That they might be an instrument of giving you direction via God's providence in your life. So if you're feeling like you're lost,
Don't follow Debbie on the bus.
Listen, there may
also-
be people in your life, hold on, that can give you direction, that truly are
But
being
wait,
led
wait,
by
I wasn't
God.
finished. I
Okay.
wasn't finished. And then there was a boy on
A young man.
a young man, and I said, "How do I know where to get off?"
What did
So-
you just say?
How do I know where to get
You
off?
sound like an English person here.
And
understand you.
the young man said, "Don't worry, I'll tell the bus driver where to let you off." Anyway, I made it.
So we have got.
Meanwhile, these two are climbing a 3,600 foot mountain.
Way easier than the luggage. So Lisa, why don't you tell us about the climb and the descent
Oh yes.
and add in a spiritual lesson,
Yes,
please?
I was going to talk the spiritual lesson
I'll talk
first.
about it one afterwards.
I was going to say, so we have come across some very hospitable people, and we've come across some very not hospitable people, and just to encourage everyone. So, yes, maybe these are the rules, but sometimes Jesus didn't always follow the rules, and sometimes we're called to be kind and generous with our time and be helpful to people in need. But anyway, we climbed up. We scrambled again up this mountain.
Have we defined scrambling?
Yes, a few
Zigzag.
episodes ago.
Okay, just
we have
wanna
to
make
go
sure.
over it's
Without
rock,
any help.
rock climbing
Without
any rope or safety gear or harness. So we had to climb up a mountain like this, and it took
Like how?
like this, like prayer hands.
It's about right.
Almost prayer hands. So we had to climb up this mountain, and it was very steep, and it was 5 miles high, or 5 miles long, and it was quite challenging. We had to stop along the way, and it also gave us the opportunity to admire God's creation. And so sometimes when we're in a rush, we forget to admire and to take in God's creation. So there's another spiritual message for everyone, to take time each day to give God thanks and praise for the beauty that He created for us to enjoy. So we got to the top of this mountain, and we thought, wow, the worst is behind us.
Not.
Until we started our descent, which was 2 miles long. And
And it was like reverse praying hands.
Yes, exactly. And they're working on
You mean like this?
Yes.
They're working on
The trail,
path.
yeah.
And so they've dug it out and taken a lot of the stones, the rocks out, and then they leave their tools. So you think that they're working on it to create stone steps.
But they're leaving big holes
But
behind.
they're leaving giant holes, and you have to we had to use our upper body.
Triceps.
Yes, we had to do some upper body
Maneuvers.
maneuvers and swings to get down the first part of the descent.
Then the second part, Lisa.
The second part of the descent, there was no more stones, and so you think, okay, this is great. The stones are behind us. We will not be twisting any ankles. But yeah, again, it was like this, and it was slippery grass and dirt. And so Deacon Dave was zigging and a zagging.
Actually, I was sidestepping.
He was sidestepping.
He was scrambling.
He was
Yes.
descending,
Scrambling.
scrambling.
Lisa sat on her bum.
I did
And
a
went down the
crab-
hill.
I did
Let's
a
just call
crab
it what it is,
walk,
okay?
But it was more of a boot scoot.
It was. She was just scooting down the hill.
I was
people.
totally scooting down.
For like a quarter of a mile, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I was just like, okay, when is this ending? This is gonna take me forever. And
It did take
it
forever.
did take me forever. He's already at the bottom. And yes, it was. But you know what? We persevered. We endured. And
It was
we-
a moment of humility.
It was, it was also a moment of patience, because patience is sorrowful, not letting a situation cause you sorrow,
Yeah.
which is also known as long suffering. And so I felt like I was very long suffering in my boot scoot, but Go ahead.
So I think we were prepared for like the hard work of going up the hill.
Yes, but
because,
not the decline.
Right. And so sometimes what you think is the easy work, like the going downhill, is actually the hard work.
Yeah.
And we make things because of our
Expectations.
our own selfishness, our own
Oh,
expectations. Sometimes we tend to make things more difficult than what they are.
I don't know if we tended to make things more difficult yesterday.
Well,
I'd say no.
not us making things difficult, but from a spiritual perspective,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
It
yes.
Sometimes when we're in a rush or we have a lot going on, it feels like really difficult work. This should be so easy, but I'm being caused to be nice to someone, to be kind to someone, to be patient with someone in a moment where I don't want to be. Like
Yeah.
we're like, hey, we're ready to get down the hill. This is great.
Yeah.
We just walked up 5
Yeah.
miles.
Yeah.
Now we want to get down the hill. This should be easy.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't easy.
Right.
And so sometimes, it's inside the details
Right.
of what we're doing that we need to really rely on the fruit of the Spirit.
I think sometimes we're also on a mission, and sometimes like when somebody interrupts that mission, we kind of want to disregard them and just continue on our mission. But these are actually opportunities for us to
Yeah.
encounter this person, to minister to this person. Maybe God has sent this person to minister to us, but to be intentional in speaking with a person, or maybe they need some sort of help, like Debbie needed help, and yet these people went out of their way to
walk
to walk her. Yeah, they went. Yeah, they
Not
not,
just
only
give me
told her like, yeah,
direction.
it's over there. No,
No.
they actually took her there.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, I think this is just a lesson, like for myself too, to not let my task in the moment
impede your opportunity.
Yes, absolutely.
So Debbie, did you have another spiritual lesson from day 5?
I did, but did I tell him about the other one where I walked with a guy for 3 miles? Over
we tell
3
him that?
miles?
Yeah, we did that.
We already did that?
Yeah, we did
Okay.
that. We did that.
So yesterday while on the bus, of course, it's hot because nothing's air conditioned. And I had to pull up my sleeves, and there was a mother and a daughter that started to inquire about my tattoos. And so I had another opportunity to evangelize to them. And they loved to hear the story of my tattoos because they said they were evangelization people themselves, and they loved spreading the Christian word.
Debbie's just our evangelization queen.
So I've been like really,
Our England evangelizer.
yeah,
Yes,
been taking these moments to turn people back to God. That like what we're supposed to do when we are being mentors to people. We are supposed to not necessarily give them a solution or a resolution, but
Give them
to
Jesus.
guide them back to Jesus.
So today, which is day 6, I'm just going to say it was an easy day. And I think what made up most of our day was that we walked 8 miles, walked a couple extra when we got to town. We had chocolate cake,
We hung out in
coconut
town.
cake,
We
ice
had
cream,
ice cream.
Wow, I forgot all that.
wine, and then we had dinner.
And then we had toffee pudding, sticky toffee pudding,
Yeah, so,
and custard.
Tomorrow's over 12 miles, so
We're gonna walk it off.
a lady at the post office, which is also the general store, I said, please pray for me with these 2 ladies. And she goes, well, you asked the right person. And I go, well, what do you mean? And well, she says, I love Jesus. And so,
We said we do too.
yeah, so I think when you talk about these things, it's pretty cool that people are willing to open up to do that.
And so be bold and courageous when you hear somebody say like, oh, pray for me, and like take the opportunity to be like this woman, like, oh, you're talking to the right lady, or even to like, what do you want to pray about?
Absolutely.
Yeah, Lisa said she's gonna take that lady's response, and every time someone says, pray for me, she's like, you talking to the right girl.
Talking to the right person.
With the snap.
That's right, just like that. Well, I'm Deacon Dave.
I'm like person Lisa.
I'm Duda Miss Debbie.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.